Hey all you petrol heads, this is RealScope82 and I'm bringing you some more Gran Turismo Sport. And this was actually my first time in a proper Danish Racing League season. And this is of course the first one out of 2020. You'll see me right in the back there in my Marlboro Golf GTI. Of course we are a lot of people in Danish Racing League, so we are in 3 divisions and this is the slowest one. The AM division. We have a Pro Am and a Pro division as well. But we get nice and clean around the first corner. One is getting a very slow start though. But look, right up against the barrier right now. It's a bit of a pushing match here between Fishy and Flying Jake. And Flying Jake here, he has a couple of incidents not going his way, I would say. And of course we had a couple of people that didn't really get the memo about which car to drive. Fishy being one of them. Look at that. That does not look very well in the background there. So let's go in for a closer look on board with Flying Jake. And what happens when he goes flying out to the grass. Fishy trying to cover off, but this right there, man. That is not a good move. And it did cost Flying Jake a couple of positions here. And the 3 guys in wrong cars all got disqualified afterwards, so they did not get a proper starting position. And whoa, these cars are a bit of a pickle to drive, because if you turn just the slightest while braking, then you are losing that Golf, or the Toyota as well. You saw 2 people go off there, and let's have a look at the second one. He almost has it, but no. Completely loses it. It looks kind of funny, but these cars are very funny and also very hard to drive if you haven't actually gotten in a couple of laps. So yeah, there was a couple of incidents right at the start, and I also had a couple. You see there, Fishy in the Peugeot also has a bit of an issue turning in there. And as we come around the next corner, you will see one of my first big blunders. Yeah, not looking good here, but Billy was thankfully good at giving me a bit of space there, so we didn't actually ram that hard into each other. And I must say, I did enjoy this race. There was a lot of contact, and you will see a lot more contact later on, but damn, this is a fun little car, and we tuned them to 160 horsepower, which gave it just a little bit of oomph. Here, I see the room here on the inside lane on Billy. Yeah. He did blink at me there, but I hold my ground there. I think that was a clean move. Might have been a slight touching, but nothing really serious. But here we go, my second blunder. You know, you gotta check the gravel sometimes, just to be sure it's still there. And that was not really what I was hoping for, because before the start of this race, I had a dream about ending in the top 5 in the show race. But look at this, another spot seems lost to one of the disqualified cars. Ugh. But I get a bit of line, and away we go. Because the end result of the show race here, which was only 10 minutes long, determines the starting grid for our 1-hour endurance race right after this in our Group 3 cars. So I had to pick up the pace and stick in the slipstream. And we're coming down here right on Fishy's tail. Let's see what we can get out of that. And as you see, thankfully, I did not get the same treatment as Flying Jake. So I am around Fishy rather smoothly. And we are now chasing the next slipstream. And as we're coming up towards the right-hander, the same time as Billy almost loses it, we see some weird contact from behind between the 2 disqualified cars. Let's have a closer look here. It's a rather weird circumstance, but look at that, smash. But it actually looks like Fishy's car is saving me from getting kind of tomahawked right in the rear. And again, we're having a fight with Billy. Managed to get around the outside because he lost so much momentum in the first right-hander. And around Bille, we are now setting our sights for Flying Jake. And we're hoping to get a good pass on him that doesn't involve any kind of incident, because I think he's been in enough so far in this race. Let's have a look from inside the car. And we have another off-track incident. Nobody but the driver himself was involved, thankfully for that. But these cars are really fickle when you turn while braking into a corner. There we go. It's about a lap later, and I'm a bit closer. Coming up towards here, and can we go in for a close look? And we have 3 cars directly in front of us. We have Flying Jake, we have Knet, and we have Havoc. So let's see what we can get out of this. Going to the right-hander, and Flying Jake is closing that corner off quite nicely. But because of Havoc's big ass, I managed to get on the inside for the next one. And I brake a bit early just to avoid the contact, and I should have remembered this for the next corner down here for the left side, because I did not brake early enough, and I did give Havoc a slight punt right up the tailpipe. But thankfully none of us went off course, and I must say, in this situation with these 4 cars here, that was freaking fun, because you're feeling like you're on the edge in these cars all the time. Just a little mistake and you're just completely gone. So this was really, really funny, but this is not over by a long shot, because Cadet, he manages to get around, and now we are 2 people in sharp pursuit. Look at this. Flying Jake manages to get on the outside. There was just enough room, but a little more than the next thing that happens here. It was a very clean overtake on the inside lane here, but coming up towards these slow left-handers, we were both in draft of Flying Jake, and he kind of shuts off the track here, but Knet, he makes his own racing track out of the grass, and a complete side swipe here, which could have taken me out, but thankfully there was only a minimum of contact. But now I have to remember, Knet is in 3rd at this point, and this is the last lap, so I managed to get it on the inside here, and I did not touch him. He broke a bit too late on that one, and I managed to actually get home to the finish line with a 3rd place. After all that in the beginning, I was very happy with myself. But look at this. On a string of pearls, we are Havoc, even though we had a bit of an issue there, he is still very close by. And you saw Knet kind of basically was 4 wheels on the grass, but he still manages to keep momentum and move past Flying Jake. Going up into the last corner, take a tighter line, perfectly timed my braking, and there was enough space if he would have stayed on track there, and he got reset, so he lost a lot in that last turn. But yeah, that was the show race. Let's have a look at all the positions. And taking the checkered flag first was Recreo. After him, Iron Duck. And behind him, our little trio, me, the real Scorpion, and Flying Jake and Havoc. In 6th, we have the Fast Devil, followed closely by Greedy Mag, Knet, and Bille. Behind Bille in 10th, we have Pius, and behind Pius we have the Highway Hall. And of course the 3 guys that got disqualified for using the wrong cars. But this was the finish race result and the starting grid for the Endurance race. And that race I will hopefully have up before next week's race on Thursday.